Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Me in My Kitchen Space. In today's recipe, we are mainly focusing on how you can achieve a very thick gravy while cooking your stews. So, this is a kitchen hack that will come in handy, and that simply means that we have a secret ingredient. So, keep it tuned and you're going to learn something. So, I've already boiled my meat and I've set aside the beef broth. So, I'll start off by drying the broth that has been left in my pot, and this will take about a minute. Then I'm going to add my chopped onions, give it a stir. Then I'll go in with about 1 to 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. Then I'll go in with my fourth ingredient, which happens to be my ginger. I'm also going to grate it. Then I'm going to mix it, cover it, and let it cook a little bit before I can go in with my garlic. So today I've decided to chop my garlic into not very fine particles, and that's how I like it. So I'm going to add it in, give it a quick stir, then cover it and cook it for about a minute. Then I'll be back to add in my coriander stems. So at this point, we are basically building up on the flavors, and this is going to ensure that our end product is very delicious. So I'm also going to give this a quick stir, and then I'll cover it and wait for the dania stems to become a little bit soft. Then I'll be back. So at this point, I'll go in with my tomato paste, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water so that I can loosen up my tomato paste and I can give it an easier time while cooking. And then I'm going to cook my tomato paste for about 2 to 3 minutes till it is well done, so that that metallic taste can isha. Then we are going to add in our spices. So I'm going to add in a few mLs of water, and you can see this already looks yummy. So 2 minutes later, I'm here to add in my spices, and I'll start by breaking my seasoning cube. Then I'll add in my bay leaves, and then I'll add in my black pepper and some chicken masala. So let me explain something. So I've tried about 5 or 6 brands of beef masala, and my opinion is beef masala is not tasty. So I always like adding my chicken masala even if I have my beef masala with me. Also, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Then I'll mix this in, and so that I can help my spices cook a little bit faster, I'm going to go in with some few mLs of water, and you can see that this is calling me by my name. I'm going to cover it, and in the meantime I'm going to chop my vegetables, and today I'm using only carrots and some capsicum, and you can notice that I've chopped them into slightly bigger pieces because we're making a beef stew, and this comes in handy especially if you're from the mountains. So I'm going to mix this in, and then I'm going to cover it so that they can also absorb the flavor. Then I'll be back, and now this is where things get a little bit interesting, and yeah, I'll be back to introduce my secret ingredient. So as you can see, at this point everything is basically done, but remember we are making a stew and not a wet fry. So I'll go in with my water, and if you're from the mountains, this is the time you get to shine. Add water, add more water, and add more water, because we just have to add more water. So I'll add my many cups of water, then I'm going to mix it. And at this point, you'll notice that this is basically nyama imeoshwa na supu. We have to cook this so that it can become thick. And I'm also going to add more water, because why not? Also, I apologize for the background noises, and if at all I haven't mentioned, I'm going to list all the ingredients that I've used in the description box, so you can check that out. As you can notice, this is very light, and when I do that with a spoon, there is barely anything left on the spoon. So I'm going to cover it and let it come to a boil. Then we are going to taste it again. This has been boiling for about 2 to 3 minutes thereabout, and let's test it again. And you can see that there's something, but barely anything left on the spoon once we do this test, and this means that our soup is very light. So it's at this point that I'll introduce to you my secret ingredient, and this is all-purpose flour. Basically, all-purpose flour is unga ya chapati, not unga ya mandazi or self-raising. It's basically unga ya chapati. So you'll need to add some cold water, because when you add hot water itashikana, and that's not what you want. Then mix it to form a paste, and then we are going to slowly slowly add it into our stew. You'll notice that the mixture turns from a soup into a gravy, but not that fast. We have to let it cook so that we can achieve the best results. And if at all you feel like this is not the consistency that you're going for, you can always add a little bit more. But remember, the more you add, the thicker your gravy becomes, and the longer you cook it, the thicker it also becomes. So we do not want to add a lot because you're also going to cook it, and in this process it is going to become extremely thick. So once I do the test again with a spoon, you can see that there is quite something, and this tells you that we're on the right track. We are going to let this continue cooking for about 2 to 3 minutes till the consistency that I want is achieved. And this particular method, you should try it out, because let me tell you one thing. When I was first taught this hack, it was back in campus very many years ago, and no sooner had we finished cooking than I had already known what I'm having for the next meal. Like from then on, just guess who used to take some mac and cheese and barely knew the price of cheese? It's me. Guess who used to take some thick hot chocolate? Definitely me. Guess who used to take some lactose-free milk on a zero budget? Definitely that was me. I tried so many recipes and I never got to buy the thickeners. You do not have to buy the cheese. If at all you want to make some gravy, you do not have to buy some broth. You do not need to buy the expensive sauces like in a mustard, ketchup. I bet you should try out this. I even made tea from this hack. This is the consistency that we want, and our meal is basically done. So it was that easy, and I'm going to sprinkle it with some coriander leaves, and then I'll see you for serving. Finally, you can see that we've achieved what we wanted, and that is a very thick gravy. I bet you should try out this recipe, and this recipe really comes in handy when you want to make food for many but you do not have a lot of ingredients. As you can see, my meat was not that much, but you can see the magic that it has done. I'm going to serve my beef stew with some rice and some broccoli, and then the best part about this recipe is this thick gravy. Look at the magic when you pour it on top of the rice. Nakwambia utamu from all angles, left, right and center. So I hope you learned something new. Also try this hack, and ikikubamba, share it with your friend. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll definitely see you in my next one. Bye.